Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel, and today we're going to be installing the ultimate front end package from Kryptonite products. If you drive a Chevrolet or a GMC truck, you know that independent front suspension, the steering components leave a lot to be desired. If you are a YouTube guy and you like to go out there and you just like to look at carnage videos on tie rod breakages on GM trucks, you know what's up out there. This is the ultimate front end package from Kryptonite products. And we are a stocking warehouse distributor of Kryptonite products here at Thoroughbred Diesel. We're very, very proud of the relationship that we have with these guys. And we think that they make some of the very, very best suspension and steering components for all of the light duty diesel trucks out there, hands down. Kryptonite products have got a lifetime warranty. They tell you right there in their warranty, they tell you go out there, break it, bend it if you can. If you can, they will replace it. So this is one of our best sellers in the Kryptonite brand. This is the ultimate front end package, and this works for the 2001 to 2010 Chevrolet and GMC 3/4 ton and ton trucks. Now, what comes in the ultimate front end package? Now, this isn't every steering component that Kryptonite makes. They make other ancillary components like upper control arms. They make upgraded ball joints. They do an upgraded wheel bearing. But this is one of our main sellers. And if you have a 3/4 ton or ton GM truck, and you are even thinking about trying to do some boosted launches, you're going to go out and hook to a sled one night, or you're going to be doing some drag racing, anything that is above stock horsepower or stock usage of a truck, you definitely need to upgrade the steering components. The tie rods are the first thing that you're going to want to upgrade, and this kit takes care of the tie rods and the center link and the problems that we have with the idler arm as well. And it really shores up that front end of that truck and those steering components to where you're not going to be on YouTube and people aren't going to be making fun of you. So we go over what comes in this kit. Now, you pretty much hear the word death grip when you're talking about Kryptonite products. So this has got all the death grip products in the ultimate front end package that are under that death grip banner. So let's talk about those. First off, this is our tie rod set. Now, these tie rods are going to be a little bit different. They don't screw into the center link, and we'll see that in our installation video. But they do have the tie rod style joints on both ends of it. Now, this isn't going to fix the turning radius of your Chevrolet, but it still is a very, very, very nice upgrade. And the tie rods are made out of absolutely nothing. You're not going to break this tie rod on these. These are fully greasable, fully adjustable, very, very nice product. We'll line those up against the stock tie rods. Then you've got your SS series center link. This is a very, very heavy product. This works in stock center link location trucks. So this is going to use your idler arm back, your steering dampener back, all of those components. But with the center line of this and the new tie rods, this is going to bring everything in more of a center line itself. You're not going to have that funky bend up at the center link. So that is a really, really nice portion of this kit. Then we have the idler arm kit that comes with this as well. This is the death grip idler arm. Then you have the idler arm block here. This is going to upgrade your stock idler arm holder, and it comes with a new frame that holds that idler arm to the truck. Now, this is going to use the stock idler arm bracket, but it also has another portion of this that you can either drill through your frame and you can bolt this, or they suggest that you weld this straight to the frame. So if you're not comfortable with a welder, have somebody else help you with this. Then it comes with an upgraded and fully greasable pitman arm. The truck that we're going to be working on today, the steering gearbox is absolutely trashed in it. So once we get all this pulled down, we're going to throw a steering gearbox in. I'm not going to show you that, but we are going to be putting a new pitman arm on it. When I bring this out, I'll show you all of that on the installation there. So this install, this is a weekend job for you guys. Shouldn't take you very much. Doesn't take an expert. However, there is going to be some welding that is required with this. And the truck is going to need a new alignment by a professional alignment shop when you get done with it. So let's go ahead and get started on our installation of our Kryptonite Ultimate Front End Kit. All right, we wanted to come under the truck and get some GoPro shots of what the steering system on these trucks looks like, on these 3/4 ton GM trucks. So first off, you have the famous tie rod here. You can see we got lucky enough, we got a hold of a truck that had a stock tie rod on here. I mean, this is really nice. Steering knuckle right here is where the tie rod is hooked to. And then your tie rod goes in and immediately screws into our center link. Our center link is also going to be replaced here. Center link has the pitman arm attached to it right here at the steering box. Then you go down your center link some more. This is your steering stabilizer. Steering stabilizer is also integrated into the center link. And then you also have your idler arm. I'll get some light here. There we go, now you can see it. So you have your steering link your steering stabilizer integrated in here. This is your idler arm. Idler arm is attached to the center link as well, into the center link here on the passenger side, and then another tie rod out to the passenger side steering knuckle right here. I've already got that side loose. I'm gonna show you this idler arm support. You can see here on the front of the truck, this is attached to the frame. This stock bracket, 2 bolts here that hold the idler arm support on. The idler arm support has the idler arm again attached to our center link right here. So these are all your components that we're going to be working on today. So just wanted to give you an overview of the system here. And first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be unhooking the tie rod, removing the tie rod from the steering knuckle here. So we're going to sit back up on the big camera, show you how to do that. All right, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the tie rods from the steering links. I like to get both of the tie rods free of the steering link, of the center link, of the center link before I start working on everything else, because I want the arm to be able to basically roll without being against the steering knuckles. I've already got these tie rods disconnected, but I'm going to show you the way to do it. When I do tie rods, and then I'm sure everybody will jump in the comments and blah, 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 blah about this, but I try to treat it as if I'm going to reuse the tie rod, even though I'm not going to. These will not be reused, but just show you on tie rod. So what we do here is on the tie rods on these GM trucks, 13/16 on the nut, but the center of the tie rod itself is also hex. So if something happens and you turn the nut and the center begins to turn with it, you can back off, put a wrench on the nut, and then a wrench on the center portion of the tie rod. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen the nut, hit it with an impact. It'll usually buzz right off like that. And what I do is I'll put the nut back on it, just a couple of threads. And usually if you hit the steering knuckle at the knuckle here, a few taps on it, and eventually it'll give up the ghost and it'll fall right out. If you don't want to do that and you give it too much and you feel like you're going to compromise your tie rod, you can go up on top. If you're not going to be reusing it, a couple of hits on top and it'll turn loose just like that. But usually you can get a couple wraps on the side of the knuckle and it'll usually fall right out. So I've already got the passenger side done, so we'll pull our tie rods clear of it and be on to working on our steering link. Okay, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the steering stabilizer from the frame. This is an 18 bolt with a nut on top of it, so we're going to go ahead and loosen it up. I'm going to have your pry bar. I leave the steering stabilizer attached to the center link because I bring all of it out in one shot, or at least try to anyway, but I like to get my steering stabilizer undone first. So Adam, go and get in position there. Go ahead and buzz the bolt out. Yeah, of course. And then you want to make sure that you keep that. It doesn't come with a steering stabilizer in the kit, but I definitely suggest you change the steering stabilizer out because it's a fairly inexpensive part. So just use a pry bar here. Actually, Adam, I don't want to get up in Adam's business. There's your steering stabilizer to where it'll slide right past, and you can go either way you want to, but passenger side, slide right out. We're going to go ahead and begin removing the pitman arm from the center link here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the pitman arm from the center link, and then I'll come back after the pitman arm. But to remove the pitman arm, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the castle nut. The Carter key is in here, so we'll just remove it. And this is a 22 metric, I think, on this. I didn't bend my Carter being up enough. then 22 metric on this, and we'll remove it. After you get this removed, that's not correct. So that's my 13/16. Sorry, that's my 22 metric. We'll remove the 22 metric nut off of this, and then we've got a pickle fork ready to get it separated from the center link. So go ahead and buzz this off, just like so. And then this pickle fork, the way this one we've got, this snap-on pickle fork, the way it lays over my front cross member, I've got just enough tension there. I should be able to pop that loose from the pitman arm. She's coming. Got it. Alrighty. Pickle fork back. There you go. There she is. Disconnected from my pitman arm. Now we're going to move over to our idler arm. You will need to your hardware here. You've got new hardware that comes with the new idler arm support. And get my wrench on here. I've got the center link. I've got it. I left it on the center link or on the pitman arm just a little bit there. So now I've dropped it off of the center link. And I'm gonna just pull that out with my prise bar. All right, just like so. If this power steering or these transmission line gets in your way, you can unhook it right here and then pop it out of the holder and roll it up and out of your way, just like so. Now what we want to do is we just want to roll that idler arm support out like so. Watch it. Like that. All right. Now we got it free. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of relief. We're going to move the whole center link and everything. Steering stays out and move it towards the driver's side. That lets the idler support free. And then you bring it all out. It's one assembly. With the pitman arms on the 2001 to 2010 Chevrolets, the front cross member on these trucks doesn't lend itself to being able to get a proper pitman arm puller on the steering gear. If you look up the correct procedure to change the pitman arm out on one of these trucks, it tells you to remove the steering gear. That's what we're going to do on this truck as well. I tried a couple different ways on some bigger pickle forks and whatnot, just to see if I could pop it loose. Gear's on there pretty well, and you're going to have that because on the steering gear you've got a tapered shaft on the pitman arm. It takes a pretty good amount of force to get the pitman arm off of it, so it was no joy on that. So we're going to replace the steering gear in this truck, and the reason being is there was already a leak at the gear, so it was a really good time to replace the gear. So Kryptonite video here, but we're going to give a small plug to our buddies at USA Standard Gear. The USA Standard power steering gear that we carry, these are a no-core gear, really good product. So the Kryptonite Death Grip pitman arm next component in this kit that we're going to be installing. Before you go to install the pitman arm onto your new steering gear, we're going to show you what to do to the truck to get the truck prepared to pull the steering gear out. But to prepare your steering gear to accept the death grip pitman arm, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the steering gear on, or put the pitman arm on the steering gear, and you just want to, you don't force it onto the taper shaft. You want to be able to remove it. So you want to take the steering gear, turn it with the pitman arm on it all the way till it stops, then go back all the way until it stops, and then try to find your midway point. And then your midway point, these 01 to 010 trucks have 3 splines, so they can only go on the steering gear 3 different ways. At that point, you will want to install your pitman arm onto the steering gear at the correct position. So I've got this at the halfway point between what I'll call the 2 locks on this steering gear, and then my pitman arm is going to go on as such. And the correct splines for this are going to leave me right there in about that center position to where it can connect with the center link and be in the correct position. So we'll install our nut here, and we'll go ahead and drive this onto a tapered shaft, because then we know that our steering gear is the correct splined to the correct position on the steering gear itself, and it's ready to install on the truck. So now let us take you through and quickly show you how to remove a steering gear on one of these Chevrolets. Before we install our steering gear, the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we get the steering wheel locked down to where when you release it from the steering gear itself, that the steering gear isn't able to, or the steering wheel isn't able to turn free, and thereby breaking the clock spring inside the column and all of that. So I just take the seat belt, run it through the steering wheel, hook it back into its latch, and then that'll keep your steering wheel positioned where you need it to be. And then access, if you're on a lift, if you're trying to do it, well, it doesn't matter. Access to our steering gear, the first thing that I do is I go over and I get the driver's side intercooler pipe, the hot side pipe. I unhook it from the bottom, and then I'll just kind of move it up out of my way, and then that gets me access to the top of the steering gear here. So we're gonna switch over, fire up the GoPro, show you a couple of shots, getting to the lines on the steering gear, and then unhooking the steering shaft from the steering gear itself, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and pop the 3 bolts out and drop our gear out. All right, Adam, I'm up here in the engine bay, and Adam is going to take a GoPro and get down here at the steering gear and show you 1 bolt that holds the steering shaft onto the steering gear. Once you get that bolt completely out, you got to take it completely out because the steering gear is indexed to hold it. Take that bolt completely out, then you take a pry bar, put a little pressure on the shaft will disengage. Make sure that you've got your steering wheel inside here locked down. Then a crow's foot 18 works really well from the top to get the lines loose. You might have to get to the other one with just a normal wrench, but it's just a grab it and growl situation. Got the intercooler pipe out so I can make headway here. Adam's going to get down here in the fender well and show you kind of what we're working with on the steering gear. So I've got a 11 metric universal socket here that we're going to be working with to get the bolt out of the steering shaft, and can figure out where my socket wants to go here for you. Again, this is an 11 metric. Alright, so we'll go ahead and loosen that bolt up, and remember we've got to remove it completely. Good so far. Take it the rest of the way with your hands past the camera there to remove it. So we remove that bolt completely. Again, that's just because of the index of the steering shaft. We'll get a prize bar here and we'll push that back. Probably not going to be able to show that on camera. Then just kind of show you our 18 metric on the power steering lines. One of these I'm going to be able to get, the other one I won't be able to get with the crow's foot, but this will at least get us started.
So you've got your 2 lines here. So again, this is an 18 metric crow's foot. If you want to try to do it from the fender well, remove your fender well. That's my suggestion to you. And use a line wrench. Try to get as best engagement as you can to keep from rounding them. And there you go with that. So now that that's loosened up, I have to back it off just a little bit. And then I'll remove my curl foot. Still don't like it. So we're going to try to back up just a little bit. There we go. Now we get this foot out of there. So that's got that line loosened up. Like I said, I don't think I'll be able to get to this other one with my crow's foot. So I'll have to get it with a wrench. So Adam and I, we're going to swap places real quick. Yeah, I hope that we've got enough light to show you this, but I just wanted to show you the steering shaft disconnected from our steering box here. So we're going to go ahead and get this other line off and then pull our steering box out. Sorry about the lighting and bad shots. Just wanted to show you as much as we could here.
All right, one thing I forgot to mention yesterday, and I didn't even think about it, this truck has been modified, to say it as gentlemanly as I can. If you're going to go after loosening up the power steering lines at the steering gear from this side of the truck, from the fender wheel of the truck, the splash guard has to come out of there. Somebody's cut this splash guard probably to make room for tires that shouldn't be on it, all the things. So just wanted to make mention of that. All right, so steering gears held to the frame. These 3 bolts right here, 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top. They're 13/16. I go ahead and zip the 2 at the bottom out and then leave the 1 at the top loose but in, and then just remove it as I go to remove the gears. So I'll go ahead and zip these out, and then we'll raise the truck up, take you underneath, and show you bringing the gear out. So I like to leave this top bolt in here and then just go ahead and pull it out. When you pull the top bolt out, gear will come down, it'll kind of rest on a sway bar, so don't freak out, it ain't gonna fall out on you or anything, but keep a hand on it for sure. So we'll just get this bolt clear, and then it comes out to the rear and back towards the axle. So just set it on the cross member here and just kind of keep canting it as you come out. There we go. And then a nose dive here by the sway arm. There we go. And there's your gear out. Let her drain. Time to put our new steering gear in. We have got our death grip pitman arm on the new steering gear and tightened down. Everything is lined up correctly as far as the groove that's in our steering box shaft, where the steering shaft connects to it, and then also position of the pitman arm, all the things. So let's go ahead and get her back up. Of course, because we're filming it, it fights like a damn wild Indian. You guys are looking for a side hustle and somebody tells you, hey, you need to start doing YouTube videos, just tell them to kiss your butt, because you work on something that's easy and takes a couple minutes, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You start doing it on camera and it's going to go sideways quick. Turn on the thing. So once you've got the gear up and in position, you will eat a couple of big chunks of grease. Everything is good right there to catch it with your top bolt. I'm done with the grease falling in my hair trying to get this steering gearbox in here. We've got the gearbox installed. We lost a couple shots here through the installation. Adam and I talked about it. We're not going to make you suffer back through the dark shots of getting everything, but installation is reverse of removal. We have the steering gearbox installed. We've got the lines hooked up. We've got our intercooler pipe back on, and of course we've got our steering shaft connected to the box with the bolt in it and tightened down so everything is good and safe. At this point, what I like to do here is I like to start the truck, and I like to make sure that we don't have any power steering leaks or anything like that. I like to make sure that we can turn, lock, all the good things. So now let's get out here on the bench, and we're going to show you assembling the idler arm support. All right, so this is our death grip idler arm and our idler arm support from Kryptonite, and we're just going to kind of show you mock-up assembly on this. So on the idler arm support, you have a nut and lock washer that attaches the death grip idler arm to it. So what we want to do here is we'll assemble this and go ahead and attach, and I'll show you. Your Kryptonite symbol is actually going towards the front of the truck, so your idler arm will be to the back as such, like that. I don't know if that'll be backwards on your screen. The centerpiece of the idler arm support, this is Allen keyed, so if you go to tighten this, you can actually hold this with an Allen wrench, but when you put this inside the truck, you're really not going to have enough room to get the idler arm onto the idler arm support, so you need to assemble it outside the truck. And then this is the piece that Kryptonite has come out with that is going to give you more stability in this idler arm. This is the idler arm support, the support bracket from Kryptonite. This is going to attach to the actual idler arm support as such, and they send you hardware for this as well. This portion of it, this is going to be welded to the truck frame, so you got a little bit of prep work to get done inside the truck before you do your welding. You want to go ahead and get that frame clean, because we know Chevrolet frames, they've got that anti-corrosion inhibitor. I don't even know what the chemical is, but I can tell you what, it is sticky and it's good. You want to make sure you get the frame cleaned up so you can get good weld penetration on there. So we will assemble this death grip idler arm to the idler arm support. We'll get it tightened down, get it ready to install in the truck. We'll show you the prep work that we did inside the truck to accept this idler arm support. And then we will get this idler arm, I'm going to call it a gusset from now on. We will get this idler arm gusset inside the truck and show you the installation of this. You can actually bolt this to the frame if you want to do it. If you're one of these guys that doesn't want to weld on it, I get it. You can cut these, you can drill these through and put 4 bolts in it. You have to make a cut on the other side of the frame to get access to it, but you could actually bolt that to the frame, you know, so you've got a couple of different options there, but we are gonna weld this today. All right, we're under the truck on the passenger side. We're going to show you our idler arm support. So this is our idler arm support bracket right here, and you can see that trans line gets in the way. So first thing I want to show you is there is a plastic holder here, and I hope that you can see that comes off of this lower radiator line. This plastic holder has just got a Christmas tree push pin that attaches it to this this lower radiator isolator here. So we're just going to cut that off, and because obviously we're going to have enough room to be able to attach our idler arm gusset right here. I like to, before you put the Kryptonite idler arm in, idler arm support in, I like to go inside of this chamber and clean this up, and go inside this bracket and clean this up. Just hit it with a real light emery cloth, get that GM coating off of there, and I'll put a little bit of light grease inside there. That just helps me with our installation of the idler arm support. Then I come out here on the frame where we're going to be welding and clean this up and get it ready, prep it for weld. Time to install our Kryptonite idler arm support. We've got everything prepped here and ready. Tell you something that makes this a lot easier is if you've got an alignment tool. If you've got an alignment tool where you can bring that around, good shape. So sorry about your trans lines in your way there if you don't have full visibility of it. I apologize. So Kryptonite bracket, this is the symbol here that goes to the outside there, and then of course your idler arm goes to the back. We have assembled that. We have this ready to go here, and I'll just kind of sit it on top of the cross member, and then I just line that up. I put a little bit of grease inside of there so it won't fight me nearly as bad. And it does anyway. So alright, so at the point where we get this up, your idler arm will be able to roll on around, and it will go. So now where I'm at right here, this will give me access to where I can get my alignment bar in there, and I'll start with a sharper one, just like so, and kind of bring it around like that, and then I can get the correct alignment bar in there and line it all up. So then you see now we have the clearance to get our idler arm around and correct. So now all I've got to do is line up my top hole, which it is pretty close already. That, like so. And then what I'll usually do is I'll kind of push on that top just a fuzz. Alright, and then go ahead and bring it out like so. I can almost get it where I need it to be, like that. And then she's lined up just perfect. So like I said, left my bar in here. Now what we'll do, and I'll show this mock, and I'll just look down here. I don't have my hardware. So here is your gusset that'll go in here. That will bolt with the supplied Kryptonite hardware directly to it. Actually, I do have my bolts. So bolts from Kryptonite will be washer, bolt, washer nut on the back side, just like so. And we will put our top one in here as well. 100% lined up. So we'll tap that one on through, just like so. So you can see the way that bracket lays out now, and Adam will show you. We'll put a little bit of a tack weld here, and we'll fill these 4 holes, and we're good to go. Got your nut and washers for the back side. Don't forget to attach those. Your idler arm is here and free and swinging, and everything's lined up, so we're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. Then we'll come back and we'll show you after we've got our weld, how we laid our welds in here, and we're just about to put our center link in. So we just wanted to cut back in here and show you this bracket for the idler arm support welded up. We've got everything in here. So we just welded it, actually 3 of the 4 bolt holes, and then framed out here inside the gusset. So this power steering hose, and I'll be honest with you, it's been a while since I've been under this LBZ style of truck. This power steering hose is a little bit too close to that gusset for what I like, so I'm going to zip tie that up and get that away from there, because that will rub a hole in that hose. You don't want that. So yep, that's got pitman arm is on, idler arm is on. All we'll need to do before we put our center link back in is get our new steering stabilizer on. I don't have to worry about that just yet. I want to get this center link on. So Adam and I are going to take you out here on the shop floor. We're going to show you the center link with the death grip tie rods mocked up, and show you how to get your correct measurements on this. Now I haven't said this enough in this video. Even after you get this install done, you are going to have the truck professionally aligned. The truck is going to have an alignment done by a professional to be right, but we can give you enough redneck math to be able to get you close enough to where you'll be able to drive the truck to a professional to get an alignment done, and you won't drive through a building and kill a whole carload of nuns. So let's go out here and let's look at the measurements on the center link. All right, guys, we are getting ready to assemble our Kryptonite death grip tie rods to the SS Centerlink. Just wanted to remind you that inside of your kit, Kryptonite sends you a small tube of anti-seize. The anti-seize needs to be placed on both of the threaded ends of the death grip tie rod ends, and this is just to make sure that you don't have that the threads don't seize up, or this doesn't seize up inside the bore. So when you do go to make an adjustment, you're always going to have good articulation of this. So don't forget to put your anti-seize on the death grip tie rod threads. All right, so we've got our Kryptonite SS Centerlink and death grip tie rods, and we've got it out here laid out on the floor. And let's just take a minute really to just truly look at the difference in these two products here. I mean, the difference in the structure between the stock Centerlink and tie rods and the Kryptonite product is just, honestly, it's amazing. The Kryptonite product is great workmanship. You can't say enough about it. But, you know, again, look at these tie rods. You know, these tie rods are an absolute joke. Any flex on a boosted four-wheel drive launch, truck pulling or anything, four-wheel drive engagement, you're going to put a bind and torque on that wheel. It's going to snap those tie rods. You are not going to break these, man. You're not going to break these. So I think that, honestly, as far as you know, the geometry of the Centerlink and the tie rods, I think that it cuts out, you know, that unnecessary bend, in my opinion. I don't, you know, obviously to get it to where it needs to be, gets rid of that bend in the Centerlink. But anyway, long story short, this is a lot better product than your stock product. Okay. So now let's talk about measurements here. So again, I want to say it for the thousandth time here. You have to get this truck aligned by a professional. However, you can do some measurements here when you've got the Centerlink and everything assembled here. That's going to get you pretty daggone close. It's going to get you close enough that you're going to be able to drive to a professional alignment shop pretty safely. So here's what I do. I'll lay it out on the floor and I'll try to get the configuration of the two pretty same. By configuration, I'm saying the angle of the holes for the idler arm and the pitman arm, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll just measure out. At least he was listening to Nirvana, man, for crying out loud. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll get an overall measurement of my stock unit here, okay? And, you know, I'll get it to within a 1/16 close, all right? Then I'll take that measurement and I will transfer that out here to my Kryptonite product, and when I've got it assembled, and what I do with my Kryptonite death grip tie rods is I've got them all the way in and compacted, and then when I start moving them out to get to that stock measurement, I do it by the turnbuckle, so that and I do it at the same time in the same clip from each other, because my goal there is to make sure that each of the death grip tie rods are the same overall length. Then I get to my stock length, but I'm not done just yet. Just in case something screwed up there, I will always go back and I will check my measurement on the death grip tie rods. I will get an overall center to center measurement on those, and I will make sure that they are the same, because you can obtain the overall length and be correct, but if you've got one of these tie rods, obviously, that is longer or shorter than the other one, you are going to be out of alignment. You know, that's easy stuff. That's just common sense stuff. So just want to make mention of it. You know, nothing super technical on this. One thing to make mention of is you want to make sure that you've got your tie rods to where the notch portion of the tie rod is on the wheel side. That is your left-hand thread. So you have a left and a right-hand thread on these jam nuts here. So once you get this at the length that you want it to, go ahead, run your jam nuts down, tighten everything up, and you're ready to start putting everything in the truck. I don't cinch these down just yet. You can if you want to, but I try to leave everything as loose as I can before I get it into the truck, and then I can cinch it down once I get it into the truck, once everything's secure. So yeah, I'll run my jam nuts down and just kind of snug them real quick and get it ready to install into the truck. Prep work in putting our death grip Centerlink and tie rod assembly in here. First thing that we need to do is I like to turn the steering wheel all the way to, well, almost all the way to the left. Doesn't have to go all the way, but that gives us enough clearance to get the rod, to get the Centerlink in there and get it up to the pitman arm and the idler arm here. So I've got both of my lock nuts off of here, it's nice to have a friend to be able to help you to get this through, because I mean, this thing is pretty beefy. So just orienting this back towards the front when you sit it in here, and the Kryptonite lettering obviously is going to go towards the front. So I'll sit it on this lower control arm and then push it past my push it past that the passenger or driver side tie rod. Then Adam will hold it for me, and then what I do is I'll just keep feeding it through to the driver's side, just like so. And I check it and make sure that my riding is obviously to the front, then I'm ready to go then. So we're going to let Adam reset up for the shot here at the front, and then we're going to make our connections at the pitman arm and at the idler arm. All right, we're going to go ahead. It's nice to have a hand here. We're going to go ahead and lift this up and make our connections. I'm going to make the connection first at the pitman arm, so we got to come my way just a little bit, Tyler. All right, then once we get to the standard on the pitman arm, I'll just push it up just enough. Go ahead and get the nut on it, a couple threads. And then Tyler gets his on. And a couple threads. And there we're held right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we're going to go ahead and put a couple more threads on that as well. And then we are going to line up our tie rod ends, as you can see right here. So tie rods go in from the bottom, Tyler, to your steering knuckle. We've already got our distances and everything lined out. We'll be messing up Adam's lighting here. We're going to push those through, and enough to get a nut on them. And that's where we want to be. Perfect. All right, so we've already torqued our fronts. We've already got those 46 foot-pounds, but we're gonna go through and get our tie rod ends torqued out at 46 foot-pounds, and we're also gonna get our pitman arm and our idler arm support at 46 foot-pounds and get everything tightened down. So we went through and we got our pitman arm and our idler arm torqued down to 46 foot-pounds and got our tie rods torqued down to 46 foot-pounds. Just a word to you, when you go to do these tie rod ends, the easiest way to do this, and really honestly, this is anything when you're working with something with a tapered shaft this way, you want to just go ahead and put pressure against it, 19 metric on these bolts. I don't have my 19, these are both 18s, Adam, so everything I touch, no, that's 18 too. Anyway, put your, you can tighten these up just a little bit and hold the, this is index, so you can hold this with another wrench. Hold this, tighten that down just a little bit, and once the taper gets far enough into the board, then you can put your torque wrench on it and torque everything down. So 46 foot-pounds on everything that was tapered through here. We've gone through and done that. And then don't forget, you've got to lock down fully your adjustment on your death grip tie rods. 1 5/16", which is not the right size, but that's probably a closer size that you guys might have in your garage. I know it's metric. When you tighten these, I like to use an adjustable wrench on the body of the death grip tie rod, because I can take that tolerance up, and then I'll use this 1 5/16" to jam the nut up. Remember, on the outside left-hand threads, inside's right-hand threads. When I tighten these down, I like to just take and put a paint mark on these, just like so. And then that shows me, I can go back and I can look at those after a few, let's just call it, 20, 30 miles, whatever. Check it, make sure that we're not backing off. We tell you in the video, please take this to an alignment professional as soon as you possibly can. Let's just say it's going to, your drive home, and then you're going to the alignment professional, call it Saturday. I like to paint pin those. And then once the alignment professional gets done, I'll go through and clean all that up. So we've got everything torqued down. Don't forget to put your steering stabilizer back in. I definitely suggest you change out the steering stabilizer. You can't see this on the video, but we've got a new one in here. It's on ready to go. When you get everything locked in, locked down, forgot about the grease fittings. Before you get started with everything, your grease fittings are 5/16. Go through and just touch them and make sure they're tight. Nothing wrong with what Kryptonite does in their assembly process, but I promise you, through everything, you're going to have one of those grease fittings that loosens up. A word about the grease fittings: the Kryptonite product is already pre-greased, so you do not need to grease it. If you put additional grease in it at the outset, you're going to blow through the grease seals, the grease boots, and then you're going to have, well, you can study about that theory. So no grease there, it's already in there. Grease at your next service interval. So locked down, greased, or not greased, sorry. Got your grease fittings, you've got checked, you've got everything torqued down. At this point, what we do is we'll get in the truck and we will turn it lock to lock in the steering wheel. We will make sure that we have no contact anywhere. You want to make sure that your pitman arm does not make contact with this cross brace. You want to make sure that at full drop, so this is at full drop right now, no tires on this. Full drop, we want to make sure that there is no contact with the death grip tie rod on the sway bar links. These, a lot of guys will go through and change these out. Kryptonite makes a really, really great set of these lower control arm stabilizer links, sway bar stabilizer links. You can change those out as well. We definitely suggest it. And you're just looking for any kind of contact. If you've got contact, give us a call, give Kryptonite a call, let us talk through it with you, try to figure out what you got going on. So this install is done, ready to go. We're going to clean tools up. We're going to get the tires on it. We're going to take it for a test drive, and then we'll come back, tell you about our experience, and then we'll close it out. And don't forget your skid plates. You got your skid plate right here that goes on, then your splash guard that goes on the front here. Now we're going to put tires on and take it for a test drive. Well, that's a wrap on our Kryptonite install of our SS center link and death grip tie rod setup, and the truck drives absolutely awesome. So a couple of things: once we're getting ready to drive for the first time, even though we measured everything out and we had equal distances on our tie rods, we still had a passenger side tire that was out just a little bit, so we had to adjust that. Even with that, the truck still will be able to get down the road and get to a professional alignment shop. But I am impressed. I really am. And I'm not just saying that because we're here on an installation video. Just so much tighter on everything. There is no more bump steering inside the truck. Truck just drives great. The installation is straightforward. I mean, the small details on this kit, all the way down to the center leak being recessed for the nut for the steering stabilizer. It's those kind of details that Kryptonite puts into the product that really, really shines. And I'm kind of mad about this. I got to be honest with you. I was going to get this kit for my personal truck. It went to Boo's truck, who is one of our outside salesmen. Boo don't even deserve this kit, but no kidding. The truck drives absolutely amazing. So if you're thinking about this kit, and there's other products to go along with this. There's other ancillary things. They had the upper control arm kit. We talked about the sway bar stabilizer links that they've got. There's so many different things that you can add to this to just absolutely make the front end of these Chevrolets or these GM trucks drive amazing. Lifetime warranty on Kryptonite products. Big shout out to those guys for sending us this kit down for this installation video. If you got a question about this install or any of Kryptonite products, just give us a call, and thank you for watching.